And we are live. Welcome to the Snow Millionaire Secrets Global Summit. Here's your host, Domenic.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Millionaire Mastery Secrets. My name is Domenic, 7 of 7 Best Business and Life Strategy, and your host for this groundbreaking online event for the snow and landscape industries. We are almost at the end of a second week of hangouts with 10 titans in the landscape and snow industries. And today, I have a real good treat for you, for a young man. It's in Colorado. One of the things that we're going to be talking about with our titans is the one thing they wish someone had told them when they first started out in business so they could take their business to the next level. We're going to learn some stories, we're going to learn some strategies, some tips on how to get your system and your business successful. I'm so excited and honored to share this information with you today. Now, why are we doing this summit? One big reason. Sam is in Colorado, Rachel is in Connecticut, Emily is in Maine. I'm working with another man from Ireland. I'm in Connecticut. All of us are together talking and having an interview. That's the reason we're doing Summit. We are taking the internet, the virtual world, and bringing it to us in our office. Sam, you're in your office. I'm in my home. I'm sure everybody's in their cars, on their smartphones, on your tablets. It is across the globe. Very exciting work. And also a concept of trying to get coaching and mentoring to the masses. This technology is reducing the price down slow. Could you imagine working with somebody for a day for $3,500 or working somebody virtually for 3 months? The difference is incredible. So that's one of the reasons bringing this summit to you. Besides having these titans help us understand some of the things that they did. And it's exciting work in the virtual. Now, before I introduce you to our guest today, some housekeeping about Google Hangout. There is a 60-second delay. So when you're watching this, there's an area below where you could type in some questions, type in some comments, and we'll get to them, but they're about 60 seconds after. I want to mention that to you, so it's not that I don't want to answer them. Periodically, I will look at that page, and periodically my assistants will come over there and give me a little crack in the head. Now, I want to introduce you to a man that I've known for many years, Sam Granados. When you think of Colorado, truly, you think of Sammy. He is one of the best snow organizations in the West. It's called Integrated Snow Removal. He has been a driving force in this industry. He not only brings snow removal to a new level, but technologically, organizationally, and most important, innovatively. We have known each other so many years, and he has a large heart. I've seen it through his employees and in his passion. Yet he's a driven man, and he takes care of his clients. He has a Hispanic culture of hard work and the American dream of giving back. Actually, one of the reasons why he was voted the first CEO of the snow industry. And without further ado, Sam Granados. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Dom. Appreciate it. Very kind.
You are, I know I see your piece on your head over there, and thank you for, we got some technical difficulties, and we've come through with flying colors.
Oh, we're making it work.
So thank you very much. Sam, first question. How'd you get started in the snow industry?
Well, back probably 1974, started plowing with my godfather, but I never thought I'd be doing snow as a profession. So back when I started my company, we needed a core profit generator in the winter, so we picked up a few snow accounts, and a lot of it was luck and timing. We were blessed, and here we are. We were very fortunate and blessed and grew in our market.
It came happenstance, so it's more of a just like a necessary evil kind of thing, or is that how it started out?
Yeah, we started, we still have a small pavement marking division, but we really grew in snow. We were able to tie that in to our business, doing the striping and then meeting the owners, being one of the last people on the sites, and being able to secure large accounts, and that's what we specialize in. So it was an afterthought. It wasn't like we started a snow company and then brought in striping. We needed something to do in the winter to generate some revenue.
But now you're just all. I mean, predominantly you are a snow man.
Well, about yeah, a large portion of our revenue, the majority of our revenue is from snow, and then we have the pavement marking division that we keep good employees and managers employed during the summer.
Okay, great. Now, I know in the bio I mentioned something, and you were voted the first CEO of the year in the snow industry. What was that all about?
It was very humbling. We had just experienced the worst year in the history of the company due to low snow in Colorado. It's people think we've been getting a lot of snow. The rest of the country has been blessed over the past 4 or 5 years. We've had very low yielding snow years, and we have had some inches, but it all melted just due to ground temps. So that was a year where we had the worst year in the history of the company as far as snow. But everything else that we did, we met all the criteria, and they said, well, that's exactly what we want to talk to you is, being able to go over those hurdles and obstacles. So yeah, it was very humbling, very appreciative, yes.
Well, see, at one end you're getting, an award, and another end over here is that you are in a crisis situation, and this is your whole business. Sounds like, I guess that's why you got the award.
Partly so, yeah. We did. We met all the other criteria, so it was it was very humbling to say the least.
Handsomeness is one of those criteria, I know for a fact. Okay, I couldn't even get in there at all. Okay, for that, but definitely was that. So it doesn't sound like an easy road.
No, it's a challenge. The snow industry is a very, very tough business.
You seem like the snow there. You always think of Colorado. You just think of snow, 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 snow. But you're telling us it's not the case.
No, it's not. On average, we get about 60 inches a year. So that's about over 12 events. And some years, we get over half of that in a blizzard. So it's kind of misleading in a way. We're actually in a high mountain desert. So, it's not consistent, and then we have our wonderful upslope, which I love, but it's a challenge. We'll get the same storm hit us, 7, 8 times over 3, 4 days. So that's a challenge in itself.
Any good stories of some power stories here in the snow?
Power stories in operations? Let's
puff some chest out here. Let's anything that you told me that one year you were the CEO and you had no snow. And that was an extreme thing. But what about some power stories? What about some stories you put together, something that was maybe a blizzard? And what's that like?
We haven't had any really big blizzards since 06, 07. That year we had 2 back-to-back. We had one on the weekend right before Christmas, and then 7 days later we got another one. So that was a huge challenge, and just jumping in there, being a warrior leader, and doing things, making things happen. We actually shine when it's we're in blizzard contingency. That's when we do things really, really well. The equipment, the way we're set up, it doesn't affect us that much. And that year we were able to the southern part of the state was shutting down. There was cattle dying. People were out of food and heat. So when we were done with our operations here, we put together about 5 lowboys, after contacting the Colorado Emergency Center, and we were approved, and we sent people down there for about a week, and then we had to pull out of there because we were having another storm, so we had to fulfill our commitments with our clients. So we came back, but that was very rewarding just to go down there and help out and be able to be a part of that. So all goes hand in hand. We were asked to go to Chicago back in 2011. Or maybe it was 2012, I forget, but we hit curfew. I called in a favor from the Emergency Operations Center, and they gave us governor's orders. We were able to fulfill our commitment in time there as well. So that was one of the windfalls, one of the great success stories of Blizzard. And I have great people. I have great managers, experienced managers. I couldn't do anything without them. So it's that was very rewarding.
Yeah, you mentioned a little thing that I caught was right before Christmas was the one storm, and then 7 days later, which is right before New Year's Eve. I don't think a lot of people know, or maybe even think of this, is that snow falls and you have to go to work. It is that moment. where like some of us are still in the landscaping business. We could set it up. It has a few rain dates, and there's things that happen, but you are a regular set. Snow is not like that, and it sounds. That's a point that I heard right before Christmas and all through the house. Sammy and his men were out there. Men and women were out there, and that's what we do out there. And I find it amazing because you're on the call at all times, 24/7.
Yeah, snow service or snow business and emergency service. It's any other thing you can reschedule, but it's an emergency service. When it snows, you got to get it done.
Sam, we come from very similar backgrounds, cultures, if you will. My grandparents, Italian. Yours, I know that you're Mexican. But they have the same work ethic and coming to this country kind of thing. We have now predominantly Hispanic landscaping, and I'm sure it's starting to funnel into a snow area. Has that helped you? Has it hindered you? Could you enlighten us a little bit about, really, you're a success story. You came, I think you came to this country and American success.
Yeah, well, I'm second generation. I was the first, in our family to graduate from high school and then go on to college. Very, very fortunate, very blessed. Our culture, like you said, is very similar. We're raised with a hard work ethic because that's all we know, and then, the core values that our parents instilled in us, our grandparents, our parents, manners, respect. One of my biggest variables has been hospitality. When you grow up with not a lot, that's about all you have. So I've been able to, use that to my advantage in entertaining clients and doing things and just, taking that aspect and putting that into what I do in business is the hospitality factor. Mm-hmm. The family, like I said, great core values, very supportive. And in the beginning, they were my biggest fans and cheerleaders. The one thing, unfortunately, is I had to acquire my business acumen elsewhere, which I was able to do through other people in the industry, other industries, mentors growing up. So very, very fortunate and blessed there as well.
So is your workforce? Is it all over? Is it all over the cultural lot from from the Yahoos to the Cowboys to the Cowgirls to the to the Mexican culture to the Spanish culture? Is it what kind of what makeup do you have?
No, it is. Our labor force is predominantly Hispanic. We have a lot of Asian in there as well. Operators. It's all across the board, but predominantly Hispanic. The minority is now becoming the majority.
Sure.
And I've always worked hand in hand. I started in the field. Grew organically, and there were times when I was working in the field hand in hand with people, and people were talking about me and didn't even realize it was me. Yeah. So I would just listen, take in the information, and use that to make our company better. Fortunately, it was always good, and I got to see a viewpoint. I think even at one time, a gentleman that I was working next to asked me if I knew Sam. I didn't really know how to answer it, and I felt bad not telling him it was me. But I said, fortunately, yes, I know him very, very well. But I always took all that and used it to better our company and the cohesiveness within our labor force.
Mm-hmm. You having some? How do you train these people? How do you train your group of people? Is it do you have a training program, education program?
We have both, but most of it's hands-on. We have training seminars, and yearly in the summer we come in and we train. Handwork, de-icing, equipment, and then we go out and actually do walkthroughs on the sites. Each site is different. Each storm is different. So that's something you have to do is you have to get these guys familiar with their environment that they're going to be working in.
And right now we're in August. I mean, it's not you're doing things. You're saying you're doing things now then.
Yeah, it's around the corner actually. People always say, "What do you do in your off season? You go on vacation." I wish we did. That's our busiest time. You think about it, everything's got to be in place for when it snows. So you've got renewals, new sales, procurement of chemical equipment, people, training. So we're busy. We're hard at it right now.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice thing about being focused on one thing. I do notice that a lot of you men and women in the field, it's scary stuff. When you're focused on one thing that depends on, like snow, for instance, and that's pretty much your whole, bill of goods there. So
we're pretty much almost a snow-only company. Like I said, we've got the pavement marking division, but it's just a fraction of our business.
now, so going from like the education and your labor force, I know you have some technological advances, and you are on the cutting edge when you do your work. I've been at your place. I've been in some mastermind groups with you, and you know, please, what do you see some technological advances that you put into place?
Well, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Self-proclaimed or actual advances?
That's it. It's again, we add our stuff. Is where it comes from is not a matter. It's how you actually implement it into the companies that really matters. I think. Someone can invent something, but
we can definitely. We specialize in high volume, efficient snow removal. From the type of equipment we use to how we marry it up with the implements that we use. I think it is a little out of the box. We do things differently, not a lot with pickup trucks. If anything, pickup trucks complement our fleet and our equipment. Along the same lines, technologically advanced anti-icing and de-icing. We do things a lot differently. We lean a lot on Europe and their standard practices, what they've been doing for decades now. And to be honest with you, the United States is 2-3 decades behind the 8 ball there. Europe and Canada, their accident rate is down. They're more efficient. So we've been investing time and education to learn from that and incorporate that into our operations. Like I said, high output equipment with groundbreaking technologies such as the engines and emissions. It lowers our carbon footprint. Doing things so we have low to zero damage on properties. So in the summertime comes around, we're not having to spend a lot of time, money, and frustration fixing things that we broke during the winter. I was very, very blessed and had the opportunity to patent the plow, which we did collaboratively with 5 other people. That's a lightweight containment plow with ice scraping technology. And I think it's great. I think it's probably a few years ahead of its time, but I think it's going to catch on. So that's what we do. I try to surround myself with people smarter than me, and then just try to lead them. Try to be a warrior leader, being in the snow industry.
Wow, that's amazing with this European connection, Sam. I was out there about 10 years ago myself with a group of men. We put yearly ski trips together. I wasn't doing work, but I was doing, I'm playing over there. And we went to Italy skiing. And I'm thinking to myself yes, we are great with eating. We are passionate people. We enjoy life. And I didn't think about the technology. And when we were skiing, this was about 10 years ago, totally blew me away. The technology maybe that German, Italian influences, it was amazing where things like, they come by, you're standing on a tray where they came by, scooped you up, things going both ways. So I'm fascinated with that European way of looking at it, and their technologies are more advanced in bringing them to America.
No, most definitely.
So, and being cutting edge, like you said, you're ahead of the time. Well, that's what separates you from doing the work, but also you are a trendsetter. So you're helping the industry out. I've always seen that. That's a big facet of what you are. I said you had a big heart, and I know that you give back quite a bit to our industry.
No, well, thank you, Dom. If it wasn't for the industry, I learned a lot along the way in the beginning, the inception. So, talking about mentors, I had a lot of great mentors from the industry, so it's my way of giving back.
Yeah. Do you, somehow at times when you look at this success and not success or just marginal, and you go to these events that we start talking about, you do see that, and they kind of look at you or look at us and they say, are you lucky? Are you different? What do you have to say about that when they say that to you? You're lucky.
Along the same lines, I've heard, I was able to tune in on a few of your other interviews, and, along the same lines, I think I'm more blessed. It's all derived. There's no secret. It's all hard work, ethics, core values, thinking outside the box. It's like my spirituality. I believe, have friends in high places. So, but it's, it's just all about having the passion, heart, desire, the drive to do what we do. I think no matter what you do, if you find a passion, you learn the trade you chose, hands-on, so you know the scope or what's going on. You put your heart into it, and then you're going to desire to be the best at what you choose to do. Do what you know is right at all times, no matter what. Along those lines, in conjunction with that, give back. And try not to pay attention to what everybody else is doing or saying. At the end of the day, they're envious or jealous, or they don't understand. Surround yourself with people, like I said earlier, that are smarter than you, and lead them. In the snow industry, you have to be a warrior leader. And just always maintain that level of intensity. Always remember how you got there, what it took, and stay engaged to prevent from. One of the biggest things is I see in business, people get distracted by their success or their successes. So celebrate your victories, get back to work. Don't get caught up in them. Each season for us is a new season. Each season has a new champion in sports. It's okay to be a repetitive champion, and sometimes those repetitive champions get knocked off. Sorry, they're beeping me there, but we'll ignore that. Above all, always just be grateful to God, give Him praise and thanks, and try not to run out of gas along the way.
Well, I have to tell you, Sam, is one of the traits and talents I see in you is ego. I don't see it.
Well, thank you for your kind words. I mean, I am very competitive, though. I'll tell you that.
It's not. I don't believe that this ego has to do with your drive, because you have a heck of a drive. I just think that, like you mentioned, the success goes to your head. It's hard. I do a lot of work in the 80% areas of businesses, and they're the lower end, under the $1 million. Not that they're not successful or not, but they're just in a different category. But once they get over to that level, that $2 or $3 million, it's hard. One of the things I find hard is going into the business and saying one of the issues that we have to work on is the leader, your ego. And it is so difficult, Sammy, to say, hey, by the way, you're making $200,000, $300,000 a year, you have an expense account, you're a multi-million-dollar operation, yet you could be better. And they look at you and they cock their head and go, eh? Like what? What are you telling me, Dom? I mean,
can you hold 1 second? I got people knocking on my door. Just let me let them know I'm in this webinar. I don't think everybody knows. Okay. Just a second.
All right. Well, this is Sammy Granados. He is a man of all trades. He is a receptionist.
Sorry about that, Dom. I just we're good.
But I'm just telling the audience how much you're a man of all trades, from receptionist to teacher to mentor to leader to bottle washer. Okay.
You have to be at times. I apologize. That was just something. One of my managers didn't know I was on this. So, going back to what you said, about being lucky. People don't know until they walk a mile in your shoes.
Yeah.
Myself and other successful snow removal owners, we're blessed enough to be prepared to take advantage of, of an opportunity when it presents itself. And I myself, as a company, and I know they look at reasons why they can do things instead of why they can't. So that's one of the variables there. You look at, are we lucky? I don't know. Are we? Do you think Richard Branson? He's a billionaire. What would happen if he tried to start a record label right now in this day and age? If Bill Gates tried to start Microsoft right now, is it impossible? No, but I think it'd be extremely unlikely for success. So definitely, I think Steve Jobs, Lord rest his soul, if he started Apple right now, it would be challenging. Timing, I think, is a big part of that luck or the sweet spot. It's an enormous factor in anything. For us, we grew with Denver, so that was huge. So that combined with what we've discussed today, is a good recipe or secret to success. We all make our own luck. Like I said, I agree with Fritz, with a long list of other snow professionals. We're blessed. We're blessed in the fact that we can recognize the business environment, the snow industry we're in, and make positive changes to make a difference for us, the industry, and our clients.
There is those elements of just timing and issues there. I do want to add to that and you mentioned this numerous times, and so have many of the Titans. It's that hard work that no one sees. The day in, day out, the nights and and helping people, like you said, bringing innovations into it. I don't know. It's that idea of overnight success. There's a lot to it. So yeah, there is this trait of a little bit of luck and hard work. So that's very good. Now you mentioned some men and women over there mentoring in the associations. How have you been mentored along the way?
I've had a lot of mentors from being a child. My father, my godfather, like I said, I was plowing on his lap at 4 years old in a high snow belt region. So I learned a lot there. I had an older friend when I was in high school. He was a World War II fighter pilot that went on to fly for King Fahd. And tons of stories, a lot of wisdom there. I was fortunate, I had great coaches in high school and college. Some of my mentors, Randall Pittman, his grandfather invented the Pittman arm. William Byrne, you don't hear these names, but William Byrne worked under Phil Anschutz, and that was one of his mentors. And William Byrne is uber successful. They're all outliers, in their own respect, and people in the snow removal industry. Jeff Tovar, Steve Bednarz, Steve Fizinski, Mark Moore, all brilliant and hands-on. People like Frank Gross in the consulting world. And even now, I have a business coach I meet with, and I have some other people in just business that are, very, very successful that, I bounce things off of.
Amazing. They come from so many different areas. I've been asked a few questions one time from someone's putting an article together, and where do you find them? They're all over. From family, like I know my dad was part of mine. Your uncle. Different areas. Again, the people in the industry, definitely the consultants in the industry, very, very good men and women. It's gets you there quicker.
It definitely does. You learn from other people's mistakes and their successes.
Right. I like to think of more of learning from their successes, and I think success breeds success. I know that old saying is, with the lessons you learn from the mistakes, and I don't want to do that with the lessons, sure, but success breeds success. And
by all means, and it's trial and error. Abe Lincoln failed a lot in his career, but look at what he did. Some of my biggest successes have come from some of my failures, or what I consider failures in the field is learning. That didn't work. Let's do it this way. And at the end of the day, we are successful. People don't see it, but it's during the transition of the storm. You have times when maybe you did the wrong thing, but then you learn from that and grow, and then the end result is you were able to deliver that property on time, providing a safe winter environment.
Right. Mistakes are part of growing. You hear that adage, quote unquote, they're part of it, but they are. You put something together, Sammy, and you say it didn't work. Well, maybe at that time, this is all the information we have. This is all the people we have. This is what happened at that moment. You put together the best plan you can. When it doesn't work out, it's not that it's wrong. I mean, it could be wrong if it keeps on happening again. But I kind of think it's more that it's what you know at the time you know it. And then you move on to the next. If there's a mistake, it's still move on to the next. And you just keep on adding these. I think experience, these mistakes are really more of getting you to success.
Very, very, very true. Any industry, people are going to learn as they grow. It's called experience.
Yeah,
you develop wisdom along the way. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes very rewarding, but at the end of the day, it's all wisdom. And
it's definitely painful, and it's more expensive as we go on, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
So, now, are you mentoring anybody now?
I am. I'm mentoring a few people in the in snow and in other industries as well.
What do you suggest for men and women out there that are starting out now? I mean, some of our audiences they're trying to get these tidbits from you, Sam. What do you suggest to these men and women just starting out about getting mentoring help?
Just talk to as many people in the industry that you choose as you can. Talk to as many business professionals as you can. If you get at least one golden nugget from each of them, you're going to be good. Even the Bible says, listen and learn. Smart men learn from their mistakes. Smarter men learn from other people's. Not necessarily mistakes, but just, their journey.
Yeah.
A stupid question is one that you don't ask. There's no such thing as a stupid question.
Right. Well, you also have to have an environment also to be able to ask that question. I think, and I agree with you. There's no stupid questions. Just if you get your head beat in for asking those questions, and that culture of being able to add is a very, very good value. Very good value. Okay. But one of the things we talked about before, when you were just way back when you were saying about when you were CEO and you had no snow there. I kind of wonder what happened. Like, what were the things going? I mean, you have your crews, your men, your women, your trucks, equipment, everything's set up. Your costs, you still have expenses. That is I find that to be unnerving.
It's a tough balance. I mean, when you have good years, you got to put some away to get you through the bad, and it's a balance. And growing too fast can be a factor in just trying to manage that. You just, with anything, any business model, you have to try to adapt and overcome your obstacles, improvise where you need to do, reduce your fleet, reduce whatever you have to do. If it's technology to cover more with less, then that's what you do. Mm-hmm. And then, on the business, on the sales side, just a blend of everything. We're predominantly a time and material market, and just a blend of T&M, seasonal accounts, by the inch, by the push. And there's times when those seasonal accounts will really come in handy. Yeah. So, especially in a low-yielding snow year. And that works. Those work usually in a 3 to 5 year deal, so it averages out. Some years the contractor wins, some years the client wins, but at the end of the day, they all average out. So that's, you just do things to try to mitigate everything else going on, all the variables in the equation.
Yeah, I just look at the expenses. I know when I did a lot of snow removal in the Northeast, we are litigious beyond litigious, so it's like a juggling act over here. I don't know how is Colorado? Is it the same thing as you need to have, slip free, safety first kind of thing, and then you get your button jam and start getting sued left and right?
Yeah, I mean, our society as a whole is very litigious. In the history of the company, we've never been found negligent on a slip and fall claim. Have we had slip and fall claims? Yes, but we've never been found negligent, and that's all because of the way we do things. So, we do a lot of documentation, and the processes and procedures we put in place. We're fortunate in the fact that we cover that. And I've got my carrier, my underwriter coming to me. They're a billion-dollar corporation. They're saying, "Hey, can you help us with this?" I'm like, "Well, it's proprietary, because they're having issues with covering losses that on other people they underwrite." But it's just doing providing that safe winter environment. Each property's different. Each client's different. Is it what they want? And then just all in the contractual language. Are you going to indemnify or not? Or there's so many variables tied in. I don't think people realize. I think you don't even think people in the property management industry realize how many variables there are behind the scenes on providing that safe winter environment or keeping those slip and falls to a minimum.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. Is your client bringing your client involved with it? It's I found it to be one of the better things to if your client knows what's going on, no matter. If you can do something, you can't do something, problems, issues, big storms, no storms. I find this client, helping them in the beginning, understanding things. I think they're in a bad spot also, because managing multiple properties. So they're also in kind of this mix that we have with our businesses.
Mm-hmm. I don't envy any property managers. I mean, you've got some very experienced property managers that have been around a long time that get it, but that's one of their, I hear them talk about is, they have a hard time with inexperienced property managers and keeping good people.
Well, this business environment is different. How have you seen that over the course of the 30+ years you've been in it, Sammy? What have you seen in this industry?
It's the worst industry in the world. Stress. Well, no. Let me clarify that. As far as stress level from a business owner or even from a property manager standpoint, as a business owner, you're stressed because you haven't sold enough. Then you're stressed because you sold too many accounts. You're stressed because it's not snowing. Then you're stressed because it's snowing too much. So that's where that comes from. So it's a tough balance. There's a cloud over our industry, unfortunately.
In which way?
And I'm sorry.
Which way is a cloud? I mean, this is still a thriving business here. That they need our services and we need them as clients. What kind of a cloud are we?
Well, I think the cloud is that, in my humble opinion, that they look at us, some of us, like individuals on the lower intelligence scale, that drive rusty pickup trucks and have the styrofoam cup on the dash. It's actually those individuals that maybe some of these Fortune 100s or property managers should be structuring the deals with, rather than C-titled executives, CEOs, COOs, CFOs, or the regional VPs. That have degrees and use standard deviations to compute what snow removal operations should cost. Mm-hmm. I don't have anything against people with degrees and great educations. I was blessed and had the opportunity to get one from one of the best schools in the world. Mm-hmm. The reality is that snow just has so many variables in the equation. It's very difficult to accurately pinpoint numbers every season in any market. The best accounts are those 5-year seasonals that work both ways. As I mentioned, I touched on before that it averages out over the tenure of the contract for both the contractor and the client. Give you an example. Here in Colorado, northern Colorado, a Fortune 100 company hired a snow removal company that said it could reduce its overall snow removal cost by 33%. This equaled a savings in the low to mid 8 figures. Think about that, low to mid 8 figures. One slip and fall in northern Colorado cost that company $111 million. So now that 9-figure loss wipes out the 8-figure savings. Clients in society just don't realize the logistics behind the scenes during the event or preparing in the off season, and then operations during. So it is a very litigious environment. There's a lot of variables. It's tough, and it's a new business environment out there.
Yeah. You hit a thought of mine too. The same thing with the story was I had a high-end clothier, and he had 2 locations. I happened to be doing one, and then about 20 miles away, another one. And he would call me up and say, Dom, why is your prices so much? And I'd say, okay, just help me understand what you're looking at, because I had to hear him, I had to listen to him. This is his grievance, was the cost wars, and it did come down to that. Sammy, was I said, wait a second, take a look. How many slips and falls do you have on this property? And he goes, I have a few. How many do you have on this? We happened to be lucky at that time. We didn't have any. Not that we didn't have any then, but there's the difference. So it's that balance of making sure you give them the right amount of work, getting paid for the right amount of work, but also not being able to get these lawsuits. You have to add all that in. I think that's education for the client.
Mm-hmm. And you have to do a good job as a contractor and snow professional educating them on that. I think that's one of the biggest problems out there is you get inexperienced salesmen or people with low level of experience in snow removal, and they're like, yeah, we can do that because they want the job. They want to get the contract, and then once they get the contract, they realize that they can't perform it for where they priced it, and there's a lot of obstacles. Just the layout and configuration of the lot. Is there are there parking structures? Have any north sides? Is it the first property where you get a lot of wind, where there's no wind barriers? There's so many variables. So it's just educating your client. And most of your clients come. You talk to them, and they just move from Arizona or California or Florida, where they don't get snow, so they don't have a lot of experience in snow removal.
Yeah, that is interesting. Like I know I've been out to Colorado. I have some friends there, and I know you're out there. But I do notice, Sammy, a lot. There's some architecturally beautiful places out there. These businesses and these, it's almost like they're estates and the parking lots and the designs and everything. Um, I kind of like look at it myself from a snow remover point of view, saying they're beautiful. I don't know what happens when you have to do the work.
They're brilliant. They're beautiful Main Street lifestyle districts. That's the new thing going on throughout the country. I've consulted for numerous companies across the U.S. and have seen some very impressive properties.
Mm-hmm.
They all have the one thing in common, though. They're not built for and conducive for cost-effective snow removal. So, you get into that. The architectures or the architects, are out of California, Florida, Arizona, and they're just not designed for cost-effective snow removal, especially when you put it in, they're great there, but you put them in a snow market or snow belt region, and you have issues. So when a snow service provider performs the work on a challenging or intricate property like that and does a great job, it's going to cost more than normal because now you have a destination push. You can't just, you don't have release valves. There's a lot of things that could be done, in the design of those properties, putting in-ground melters or just relief valves, some green, some area, some vacant lots. And then the owner gets upset with the contractor because he has high snow removal bills. Well, now whose fault is it? Is it his or not? If you can work collaboratively in the design, a lot of that could be resolved in the inception rather than after the fact. So those are things there that just a little bit of proactivity or planning on the front end would save you a lot on the back end, a lot of cost and a lot of frustration on the snow provider side.
Wow.
So there's these things they're great and they're fun to plow. They're very challenging. I love a challenge, but they're not built and they're not conducive for cost-effective snow removal. They're just not.
Well, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Like you notice that when you have an area that has earthquakes, you try to bring people in that know earthquakes when you're building buildings. That's an interesting take you have, is that you start making architectural designs or parking lots or anything to do with that with a snow area. That would be an interesting way of looking at it, to bring in snow providers, the ones that are up there that really do the work professionally and do that. Wow, that was an interesting statement there, young man.
Oh, thank you, sir. It's just a fact. It's a reality out there. A lot of these properties, LEED certification properties, they're great and they're beautiful, brilliant design, just not conducive for cost-effective snow removal. They're a challenge.
Yeah. And then again, that's the frustrations we have again. When you brought that back up, you have someone that's going to come in there and going to undercut. And it's not anything. Look, we're out there to make a living. We have a family. We have costs and everything. But you do have some times, and maybe we call them yahoos, and they get out there and start, reducing the cost. And people think this. It's frustrating to try to say, like you said, Sam, you come in as a professional. There's different cost structure, but you are handling so much areas. It seems like a very frustrating element of our industry.
It's a balance. I mean, anybody can go out there and promise and claim, but then you get into those blizzards or those storms in excess of 4 or 5 inches. It's tough. And we don't control Mother Nature. We don't know. No one storm is different. No one 2-inch storm is similar to the other. You've got ground temps, air temps, wind, duration. There's a lot of variables.
Yeah, and it's a learning. That's why these industries too, these associations, these mentoring groups, these mastermind groups are so important. Because little things. I mean, I know when I first started off, what was the temperature? Well, there is a difference. There is ground temperature, and then there's air temperature. And even you said, like you talk to an owner and saying, hey, wait a second, it's 38 degrees. Why did you put down controls? But that wasn't the temperature of the ground.
No, you're.
So these are the frustrations of the industry, I think.
Right. And sometimes they'll be like, well, why? It didn't snow that day, but you had temperatures drop down. We have low humidity, but there's times when it does freeze here, so we monitor that. But There are a lot of moving parts in our industry. A lot of stressors out there.
Sam, I love these type of aha moments, and maybe I'm going to kind of stretch your thoughts here. But aha moments. Is there anything that important things that we talked about so much, but some of the important things along the way that you learned that could help our industry?
An aha moment. Yeah. I think one of my biggest aha moments was back in 2003. We were in a meeting room at the Marriott with a lot of people I respect in the snow industry, and one of them said, Sam, you're not going to be a good fit for every property in town. Because even if you were, you couldn't do all the work in town. And I highly respect that individual, and that's when I got it. It's like, I can't, and I'm not a good fit. Not everybody wants what I'm offering, and I can't offer what everybody else wants as well too. Unfortunately, because of I can't indemnify them and still do what they want to do.
Yeah, interesting thought came right back to my head is I'm working. I have a mentor right now, Michael Port. Book Yourself Solid. He is a guru that helps people out. And one of the things I always have, it always puts a smile on my face, is he says there's some clients that we are meant to serve, and some not so much. And that is a good aha moment because you feel bad. You want to do everything you can out there. But there are some clients you are not meant to serve. That's a very good aha moment there, Sam. Sam, we're coming up on the hour here, and I'd like to just ask a few more questions if I could get your time. I know that we had some technical snafus. Could you describe just a little bit about the industry, just a pinch about what it was when you started and what it is today?
What it was when I started.
Yeah, it's like you could see that there's just so many. There's big areas, and I know I started differently, and I know it's different now. Is there something that you could tell the audience about what was then and what is now, and maybe help us be better?
Wow. There's a lot of things. I think one is, the sweet spot. That was the sweet spot back then. We started in the mid-'90s. I think there's just as much or more opportunity now, but now compared to then is expectations are higher because of the litigious society and margins are lower. There's a lot of hot air out there. I call it hot air. People get LEED certified buildings, and they want your services, but then when you price them, you don't get them. They want a smaller carbon footprint. Well, you know what? At Integrated, our carbon footprint is at least 40% less than our nearest competitor, and but they won't pay for that. Technology, systems, experience, it all comes with a price. LeBron James, Peyton Manning, they don't make the league minimum because they have the experience and the knowledge, or don't not produce the expected results. They are off the charts in their performance, and they're compensated accordingly. Maybe we're onto something here, I don't know. Yes. But it's a different environment. I mean, my prices now in my market are, and I think they're across the country, are less now than they were 19 years ago. And fuel is almost triple, insurance is more, labor's more. So, it's just in our industry has driven those prices down. I mean, it's you just gotta look at your numbers and say, can I do this or can I not? And it's okay to walk away at times because you can't pay to plow, you can't pay to do anything in business, or else it becomes a hobby.
Right. No, that's you hit the nail. That is very important. To understand something like that is because we are in. It is frightening that you have the prices are sometimes the same or even just a couple % higher, but these costs, the gas and the insurance, and all of a sudden this stays the same. That is a big difference with our industry then and now.
And you're talking about budgets, and it's a different environment out there. When the wheels fell off the economy in 2008, things changed. People we didn't lose accounts per se, but we lost market share because now we still had that account, but we were only doing 30% of that account because of vacancy rates. Mm-hmm. So it affected all of us across the board.
Well, the one last question, my good man, and it is a question about all the Titans I asked, is the one thing you wish you had or someone told you when you first started out that could have helped you become more successful?
The one thing, I don't know, I think I've got more than one thing, right, but
a few things then.
One, all that glitters is not gold. Two, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Oh, just do it, sign here, we'll do it, you're a snow service guy, and then you start doing things you don't. I mean, people change, get it in writing. Less is more. And, in our industry, we're the underdog. We're the misfit in that equation. So use that to your advantage. I had people tell me that, and I didn't listen. I thought I was the smartest guy in the room and didn't listen. When I started listening in my mid to late 30s, things got easier. I just read a book about that. What a concept.
Yeah. Well, I do find that amazing is, I know that my greatest growth was in my 40s, and maybe I didn't listen, enough. Because I agree, sometimes you think I guess the piss and vinegar takes you over that level, keeps you there, but these mentors and telling you, listen. So very good advice, Sammy, very good advice. Thank you, unbelievably, thank you, first of all, of going through this technology snafus. I know you worked with my team diligently to be able to get that on. I want to thank you very much, Sam, for giving us your take on snow removal.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for the opportunity. You got a great team, so thank you.
Well, I know that my viewers have a lot of value in listening today, Sam. And is there any way, if you had a question, that they could get a hold of you?
Yeah, just probably the easiest way is send me an email at sgranados@integratedsnow.com, and I'll try to get back to everybody as soon as I can. I'll try to answer everything the best that I can.
Beautiful. Well, I do appreciate that because you do have a good take on it, Sam, and you are definitely an influence and a driver in this industry. I really appreciate it. So, well, that's it for the Snow Millionaire Secrets today. Again, the same thing is on the bottom. There's comments, there's questions. I will add Sammy's information on there so you can get a hold of him. If you want to get a hold of me, I have my email and my phone number, and I even have a Book Domenic button if you like to click it. And, you want to give me a chit-chat somewhere other than on the interview list. Now, tomorrow, the tables will be turned. I will be the one interviewed. I have a guest host. I have my friend and associate, John Richardson. He hails from Belfast, Ireland. And right now in the middle of building an incredible virtual product. Now, if I had to think about it, it's without John and with John. But again, thank you once again for joining us. It's goodbye from myself, my great team behind the scenes, and of course our excellent guest host, Sam Granados.
Thank you, Dom.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you, audience. Ciao, ciao.